Today, I gave every team in the NFL their best quarterback from the 90s. Because in my opinion, this is one of the greatest decades of QBs in history. Now, before we go to the playoffs, I want to jump in and play because I need to mention that we are using the most up-to-date rosters. So, that's Davante Adams who made that catch. We could be looking at a new greatest show on turf with Puka Nacua on the opposite side of him. And he might not be Marshall Faulk, but the Lions should have put somebody on Kyren Williams because he's going to get the freest touchdown here. The other guy who I expect to also put up some crazy numbers is Tyreek Hill because he's got Dan Marino, literally one of the best quarterbacks of all time, throwing him the ball. I'm just trying him deep here. Hill's got the speed, but he's stuck on a defender. Doesn't matter. It's just too easy for him. But honestly, I think the team I expect to have the best record is going to be the Niners, led by Steve Young. Adding him into this offense with Ayuk and George Kittle at tight end, I think they're going to put up crazy numbers. Also, in researching this video, I learned that Young only won one Super Bowl as a starter for the Niners, because in my head I thought it was more. Now, I did know that he technically had 3 Super Bowl championships with the Niners, but 2 out of 3 of those were as Montana's backup. Madden Sim is very unpredictable, but the Niners are my pick for who I think will win a Super Bowl in this season, and maybe Young even wins an MVP. But now we'll sim to the playoffs and see how all these quarterbacks do back on their teams. But before that, real quick, shout out to Denise Dorman, Wondering Wanderer, and Noah the King for being the latest subscribers to the channel. And also, there's only 48 hours left to pre-order my buildables before it's gone forever. I'm giving away a signed Michael Vick jersey to somebody who pre-orders because he's part of the reason why I chose number 7 for it. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button too while you're at it, and leave a comment on this video. The link to pre-orders in the top of the description, or you can scan the QR code on screen now. And yeah, that Vick jersey could be yours. But okay, we got some really interesting results. The Giants, Commanders, and Cowboys all made the playoffs out of the NFC East. Troy Aikman had 4,900 yards and 57 touchdowns, which is kind of not surprising considering the Cowboys won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s. Bill Sims had 4,742. I did think about making it Jeff Hostetler because he was the quarterback of the Giants team that won the Super Bowl in 1991, but Phil Sims still played a majority of that year before getting hurt, so I decided to go with just the overall better player out of the two. For the Eagles, Randall Cunningham had 4,535. The Commanders were led by Super Bowl 26 MVP Mark Rippon, who had 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns. In the North, the Packers were the only team to make it in at 14-3. Almost 5,000 yards and 53 touchdowns from Favre, 4,500 yards and 34 touchdowns from Scott Mitchell, 4,100 yards and 42 from Warren Moon, and 3,900 yards and 28 touchdowns from Jim Harbaugh. In the South, the Falcons also went 14-3 and were the only team to make it in. Nearly 4,400 yards and 40 touchdowns from Chris Chandler, 4,344 from Bobby Hebert, 4,237 from Kerry Collins, and 4K yards and 30 touchdowns from Trent Dilfer. And lastly, in the West, the Rams also went 14-3, with the Niners making it in at 11-6. Oh my god. The Rams were basically the greatest show on turf 2.0 because Kurt Warner had 5,800 yards and 61 touchdowns. Steve Young had 5,000 yards and 54 touchdowns. John Kitna had 3,830 touchdowns, and Jake Plummer had 3,834 as well. But now on the AFC side, the Dolphins and Bills had great years making the playoffs from the AFC East. Jim Kelly on the Bills had 5,400 yards and 49 touchdowns. Dan Marino had 4,800 yards and 37 touchdowns. Drew Bledsoe had 4,300 yards and 32 touchdowns. And Vinny Testaverde had 4,200 yards and 32 touchdowns. In the North, the Ravens and Steelers both went 10-7 and made the playoffs. 4,200 yards and 26 touchdowns from Tony Banks, 4,100 yards and 40 touchdowns from Boomer Esiason, 3,700 yards and 20 touchdowns from Neil O'Donnell. I honestly forgot he played in Super Bowl 30 in the 95 season, but he did lose to Troy Aikman's Cowboys, and 3,730 touchdowns from Bernie Kosar. In the South, the entire division went 5-12 except the Texans, who made the playoffs. For the Titans, I gave them Steve McNair, who literally could not have gotten closer to beating the Rams in Super Bowl 34, but despite their record, he had a great year with 4,800 yards and 38 touchdowns, 4,232 from a rookie Peyton Manning, who I did make a slightly lower overall since he was drafted in 1998, because Peyton Manning as a rookie was not the 99 overall that we got in the 2000s. The Texans straight up didn't exist yet in the 90s, so I decided it only made sense to give them their first quarterback ever, David Carr, and he finished the season with 4,000 yards and 33 touchdowns, and 3,600 yards and 30 touchdowns from Mark Brunell and the Jags. And lastly, in the West, the Broncos went 12-5 and the Chargers 10-7 to both make the playoffs. Now, the Broncos won back-to-back Super Bowls in the 97 and 98 season, so no real surprise, John Elway had 4,800 yards and 48 touchdowns. A very old Joe Montana had 4,400 yards and 42 touchdowns. 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns from Stan Humphries. Now, the Raiders were another team that was tough to pick, but they did sign Rich Gannon in the 1999 offseason, and they made the Super Bowl with him in 2002, the loss to former coach John Gruden's Buccaneers. But they brought him in the late 90s, so I feel like it was a fair fit. But this might be some of the most ridiculous quarterback numbers I've seen in a sim, and especially the touchdowns. Kurt Warner having 61 to only 3 picks is insane. Receiving stats must be crazy. Wow, 2,000 yards and 18 touchdowns from Malik Neighbors, 1,900 yards and 15 touchdowns from Devontae Adams on the Rams. CeeDee Lamb had 1,900 yards and 25 touchdowns, and Khalil Shakir had 1,800 yards and 24 touchdowns. But I mean, there's only one guy who could have won MVP, and yeah, exactly, it's Kurt Warner. Nobody else stood a chance. So this is going to be our playoff bracket for this season. So in the wild card, we start with the Chargers versus Ravens, and with 2 minutes to go, the Chargers are up by 3, and they got the ball at the Ravens 44 trying to milk some clock. That's definitely supposed to be Najee Harris. Don't know why he's wearing 86. I'll have to fix that after this game if they win. But now it's 3rd and 10. The Ravens have used 2 timeouts, so if the Chargers get a first, it might be over, and Stan Humphries is gonna get it. So the Chargers win this game. Next, we got the Commanders versus Falcons, but this game was a blowout with the Falcons winning. So next, we got Jim Kelly versus David Carr, with the Texans down by 3 late in this game. I feel like David Carr never had a good Texans team to play on. Like, he did have some talent around him, but it just never really clicked. Like, he just got abused for a while, but he's got a lot of time in the pocket. He's gonna throw deep here. Oh my God, Tank Dell is wide open. That got them all the way to the 5. He didn't get out of bounds though, so the clock's running. Doesn't matter though, because the Texans just took the lead. So Jim Kelly has 30 seconds and 3 timeouts to work with, but they need a touchdown on this drive. He's going to run and breaks out of a sack. Gonna get a first down here or close to it. The man is infamous for 4 straight Super Bowl losses, and that's not good there. They burn their second timeout. There's 20 seconds left. They're at their own 33. He's gonna get sacked again. So now it's 4th and 12. I mean, oh my God, this might be the ultimate collapse. They went 13-4 this year, and he's throwing deep. There is a chance it's not caught. So the Texans just knocked off the Bills. Who knows? Maybe this will be a redemption story for David Carr. Next, we got Steve Young versus Phil Simms. On 4th down, they're going for it. I mean, they're outside of field goal range, so they have no choice, honestly. Simms is going to throw. He's got Slayton down, oh my God, past like the 15, almost to the 10. So now clock's running. There's a minute 20 to go, and they are going to get in the end zone. It's crazy to see the Giants play so well in the sim. And they're actually going for 2 to make it a 7-point lead. Simms is going to run and get it. They burned a lot of time and have not gone far. The Giants are blitzing, so they're throwing deep, and they got it. That is a huge gain. They got them to all the way to the 43. He's going to roll out. He's going to run on this play. He's not getting far. So now there's under 30 seconds, and they've burned their last time out. So if it's in the field of play, this game is probably over. And that Kayvon Thibodeau sack just got this down to the last play of the game. He's going to check down. That's going nowhere. That was so dumb. So the Giants knock off the Niners. They're not going to be Super Bowl champs this time around. And last for the AFC, we got O'Donnell versus Elway. But the Broncos shut out the Steelers 30-0. And last for the NFC, we got the Cowboys versus Packers. And with 3 minutes to go, we're tied at 17. In real life, the Cowboys would just kneel the ball, but they're not going to do that. They are going to get stuffed at the 1 though. It's so dumb because they could just burn the entire clock and kick a game-winning kick. Ironically, that's what they did unintentionally. Or apparently not. They left 1 second on the clock. They would need an absolute miracle. And they, oh my God, there are no flags on the field. Brett Favre has got that dog in him. How? Oh my God, that block by Christian Watson just won the Packers the game. I'm actually in shock right now. There's no way with 1 second that should have been possible. So in the divisional, we got the Chargers versus Dolphins, Giants versus Rams, Falcons versus Packers, and Texans versus Broncos. But late in this game, the Broncos are up by 5, and they're in field goal position. They need a first down here to end it, and I think they might just have it there. All right, now it's 3rd and 2. Texans have used all their timeouts, and now it's officially over. So the Broncos are moving on. It was a good run by David Carr, but this is Elway's era. Next, we got the Falcons versus Packers, and with 3 minutes to go, the Packers are up by 3. They need to keep this drive going, and that's going to help him. He might actually score on this play. He does. Was not expecting that to be that fast. The Falcons are at the 19 now with 90 seconds to go. I mean, they're still technically alive. Drake London is going to get into the end zone here, but the Falcons are going to need the onside kick to have a chance, and there's just no way they're getting that one. So the Packers hold on to win. It was a good run by Chris Chandler, though. Next, we got the Chargers versus Dolphins. And with under 2 minutes to go, we're tied at 42. And the Dolphins have the ball at their own 46. Marino and Tyreek Hill are both in the zone. And Jonnu Smith is going to get this in one play. I can't believe that happened so fast yet again. Now, the Chargers have 90 seconds and 3 timeouts. They're throwing the screen pass to Najee to start out the drive. It gains 7, but they have to burn a timeout, which all things considered is not really worth it. And Humphries is going to throw deep here. And oh my God, he's got McConkey. We got 45 seconds now. They're at the 14, like they are in business here. And Mike Williams ties this game up. I simmed the kickoff and the Dolphins returned it all the way to the 44, so they are already close to field goal range, and Jonnu Smith again with a first. So now they can actually attempt a game-winning kick, and they nail it as time expires. But Marino still has a chance for his first Super Bowl. And last up, we got the Giants versus Rams. And with 2 minutes to go, this game is tied at 7, which is honestly shocking for the numbers that Warner put up this year. Devontae's getting all the way past the 30. Giants called their first timeout. Rams should just keep running the ball and milking clock, because even if they don't get a first down here, the Giants cannot stop the clock, so the Rams control the game here, and he's gonna fall forward for a first. So now as time expires, the Rams can kick a game-winning field goal. Yo, low-key, Jimmy Garoppolo looks like the movie version of Kurt Warner. But now in the AFC Championship, we got the Broncos versus Dolphins. And the Dolphins are at the 35, so they're ready, honestly, in field goal range. Marino is gonna throw end zone here, and he's got him. No, is out of bounds. Miami is challenging it. No, there's just no chance he actually caught this ball. Wait, they gave it to him? There's no way. I'm confused. It says the pass was incomplete, and then they kick the extra point. Where does he actually catch the ball? Oh, actually, that's 1 foot down, and that's 2. That was a touchdown. But the Broncos are already up to the 40 now. They are smart to get this off before the 2-minute warning, and Mims is gonna go all the way for the touchdown. So we're gonna go to overtime, and Marino's up first, and they come out with 5 wide for Marino, who's got time and a touchdown. Just kidding, it's dropped. Maybe throw it to Hill or a Waddle. Yeah, just like that, Marino. That's your number 1 receiver. They're at the 48, so I mean, they are moving the ball pretty well so far with another first down here. The Broncos are starting to act weird about the clock because there's 30 seconds left. They're gonna check down here. I'm almost positive the game does not end if the quarter expires because the Broncos have a chance. Actually, now that I say that out loud, that does not sound right, but it's 4th down, so the season's on the line here and they're not gonna get it. So the Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl, but will they face the Packers or Rams? But with 2 minutes to go, the Packers are down by 5, and they got the ball at their own 44 with 3 timeouts. Favre is gonna throw. He's got him wide open down the middle, and the Packers use their first timeout. They're gonna hand off to Josh Jacobs, who's gonna get in. No surprise here. Packers are going for 2 to make it a 3-point game, and they don't get it. I really got to stop simming the kickoff because they returned it all the way to the 48. Warner's going to throw. He's got Devontae, and he's going to get all the way into field goal range. Packers would try to ice him, but Josh Carty has a chance to send the Rams to the Super Bowl, and he nails that kick. Brett Favre almost had it. So we got Dan Marino versus Kurt Warner. And at the start of the 4th quarter, we are tied at 7 with the Rams at the 6. They're going end zone, and Puka Nakua's got that touchdown. So now Marino's got a lot of time to work with, but they need a touchdown. For both of these teams going 14-3, this is much lower of a score than I would expect, but it's 3rd and 5 now. Marino's got time in the pocket, and he's gonna get sacked. So now it's 4th and 17 from their own 32. They need a miracle. Marino's gonna throw deep, and it's Tyreek Hill who's got it for the touchdown. That was an insane 60-plus yard throw on 4th down, but now the Rams have 3 timeouts, and oh my God, what was that? I nearly jumped out of my seat because I thought that was going to be a pick, but they're going to get close to a first. They're at the 39 and only need a yard. Just do the smart thing and keep the drive alive. That catch got them all the way to the 48. There's a minute 20 to go. This is another, oh my God, it's a touchdown to Puka Nacua. We went from a low-scoring game to a back-and-forth shootout. So now it's Marino's turn with just over a minute to go and 3 timeouts. He did not need the possession catch there. We're under 50 seconds. They're at their own 35. Marino, I thought was going to get sacked by Verse. He's gonna run for it and actually get a first, but somehow stayed in bounds, so the clock is still rolling. They did not use any timeouts. He's throwing deep again, and he's got him again. It's Jalen Waddle this time. These two quarterbacks refuse to lose. They have 10 seconds left and 3 timeouts. He's throwing deep here, and Oh my God, is he caught? No way Puka Nacua just caught that. So now the Rams have a chance to win as time expires. And Josh Carty nails that kick. Sadly, another Super Bowl loss for Dan Marino. And Kurt Warner's gonna win Super Bowl MVP, just like he did in real life in the 99 season. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Make sure to pre-order my buildables today for a chance to win that signed Mike Vick jersey. And if you wanna watch more, click right here to see me put every NFL player back on the team that drafted them. But yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Be good people.